Hey friends, welcome back. This is the AI Empowered series, the complete guide to AI in your personal and professional lives. Today we're going to be talking about that iterative refinement sort of method that perfects AI. We've discussed prompt engineering and context engineering and all of these frameworks that help us get a really good first result with our prompts. But this is really about taking them from good to great or even perfect. This is that method that transforms adequate results into exceptional ones, and why most people just accept mediocre results and not take the next step and breaking through into that next level of quality. What's the difference between, feeling frustrated and feeling empowered by AI? Well, it's this next step. And by the end of this video, you'll master that iterative refinement that consistently transforms AI output into exceptional production-ready responses, or ones that really transform your personal life. So why does the first attempt never really deliver excellence? Well, if you think about it, do you ever do anything perfect on the first try or with your first thought? No. So we can't put those expectations onto AI. We need to develop things like we do with ourselves. Building this framework from module 5 and taking that step into this prompt idea, but recycling it so that we get this like iterative process really helps. But even perfectly structured prompts rarely deliver perfect results the first time. Your situation changes and you may need to add or tweak some things to make it better. These valuable AI applications that companies and people are using require these refinement of conversations to reach publication ready standards. Excellence comes from these strategic follow-ups in these conversations, not just increasingly complex initial prompts. We need to adopt this iterative mindset that transforms AI from that single use tool to that long-term strategic partner. So I'm going to be going over a 4-stage refinement system. In my agile project management background, this is a core idea to increasing the success of a long-term project by taking things in smaller chunks, refining them as you go, and delivering value every step of the way. So stage 1 is to really make that strategic evaluation, analyze the response that you got when you've constructed it with these prompt and context engineering practices that we've discussed, and really analyze its strengths and then improvement opportunities across content, structure, tone, and format. The next step is to target your refinement. So apply specific follow-up types based on identified gaps. And then you move into this quality enhancement. So elevate specific elements that need that professional polish or deeper refinement. And then finally, the optimization. So perfect formatting, tone collaboration, and presentation for intended audience and use case. So really go through this evaluation process when you've reached the end of that prompt and context engineering phase. So your refinement decision framework is going to be evaluating whether the response is solid or if it needs to be refined. Prioritize elements based on impact and final outcome quality and professional requirements that you need. Balance efficiency considerations with quality standards for specific applications. And so this 4-stage system really provides that clear methodology for improving any AI output systematically, rather than just like random conversations that try to get you where you need to go and getting frustrated, feeling like you can't get that really professional level quality. So the strategic response evaluation techniques is the the systematic approach to analyzing the outputs is a really key piece to getting these follow-up prompts to improve the AI. So some key points are strategic analysis. So accuracy, relevance, completeness, depth, and appropriateness for the intended use. Structural assessment. So are you getting a logical flow, organizational effectiveness, format, and aligning with what you're asking for? Evaluate the tone, professionalness, appropriateness, audience alignment, and format review. Is it coming out in exactly the way that you need it? Is there another way that you can achieve a closer result to what you're trying to get? If you're doing a PowerPoint, can you try to get it to output in specific slides? Or how close can you get so that you can apply the output as effectively as possible? Ask yourself, if I had to present this to my most important stakeholder tomorrow, what elements would I be confident about and which would I need to step in and do some things with? Can I get AI to get me closer? That gap identification is really key. Compare AI output against your own work, the requirements of the project. Identify specific sections or elements that need to be enhanced, and then determine whether you can get AI to get you there. Prioritize the refinement process based on the things you've discovered. Strategic evaluation really eliminates guesswork and takes you to that next level of refinement and allows you to follow up with AI so you can get even closer to that perfect response. So what are the 4 types of strategic follow-up prompts that I've identified? Clarification requests. Expand on this element for depth, enhancement, and detailed development. Refinement commands. So make this more specific quality, give it something that you're looking for style, tone, and presentation adjustment. Direction changes. Instead of this, focus on this for conceptual pivots and alternative perspective and quality improvement. So improve this section, with this direction for targeted excellence improvement. Strategic application is an ongoing process, and you need to work with the AI like you're working with a colleague. Sometimes someone else's work isn't exactly what we want, and it can be hard to give that feedback. Use this as an opportunity to, develop your sense of giving feedback, because it's a really important skill professionally. And when you're working with AI, you can be quite direct and you can really tell it what you need. So it's an interesting interaction with AI that you can very freely give feedback, which is quite rare in professional setting. And so you can really work with it in this collaborative way to get to where you want with the output. That is actually quite difficult when you're working with actual people. So this 4 follow-up type system provides the precise tools for addressing those improvement needs. I hope you can find some use instantly applying these into your AI outputs. Let's start to build some momentum through these strategic conversations. The systemic approaches that I just provided help with that refinement of these conversations and build towards exceptional outcomes. Some key points that I want to talk about with momentum in these strategic conversations are this foundation preservation. Acknowledge and build upon the elements that are working well. Tell it what it's doing well, and it'll continue to do those things. Incremental enhancement. So make targeted improvements rather than requesting complete rewrites. Context maintenance. So reference previous conversations you've had or parts of the context window, and then maintain that strategic coherence by bringing them back into its top of mind. Celebrate improvements with the AIs. If you tell it that it's doing something well, it will remember that in that context window and then continue to act in that way. This is something that you can add into context management as well. So you can say, this is a perfect example of what you did. Well done. So some techniques for building this momentum with AI is to say things like, this is much better. Now let's enhance this to make it even more impactful. Perfect improvement on the structure. The content now needs similar enhancements in this other area. Excellent. This version addresses my main concern. Let's add this for the final polish. So that conversation flow is going to be really important for this iterative refinement. So start with the broad improvements to establish that foundation, then move to specific enhancements that elevate individual elements, finish with polishing refinements that ensure that professional quality, and then maintain positive momentum by acknowledging the improvements while guiding towards excellence. And what's funny is that this is actually a really good framework for providing feedback to people and teams. So that strategic momentum builds that productive refinement process and it really enhances your conversation. And along with context engineering and prompt engineering, it really allows for that long-term strategic partner we're looking for with AI. I want to talk about efficiency versus excellence balance in these AI conversations or even professional applications of AI. So these decision frameworks help determine appropriate refinement investment for different professional scenarios and quality refinement. So in high stakes applications, client presentations, executive communications, published content require multiple refinement rounds because they're really important to the business. They're high impact. So make sure that you are identifying which AI use is the highest impact and make sure that you're getting AI to its best result possible. For standard applications like internal documents, routine communications, planning materials, it requires a moderative refinement. And for drafts or just personal conversations where you're brainstorming, these initial ideas, they don't require as much refining because, you're working with exploratory phase and maybe something that's low stakes. So really think about the effort that you're putting into AI and trying to identify where it matters the most. You maybe shouldn't be applying all of these frameworks, prompt engineering and context engineering, putting a ton of effort into a prompt where you just need to know who the fifth emperor of the Roman Empire was. You need to identify where it matters most so that your effort is optimized. This professional decision matrix that I'm going to talk about really helps with this. So consider the audience importance when determining this refinement investment. Balance time constraints against quality, requirements, and professional risk factors. Document refinement patterns that consistently deliver the best outcomes for future efficiency. Let's invest heavily in refinement for content representing your professional reputation. Use moderate refinement for important but not critical applications. Limit refinement for exploratory work, and then always refine, what you're getting beyond just that first step so that you can take whatever you've done and make it better. So thinking about this way of strategic investment of your effort with AI is going to be really key to optimizing your time and making your interactions with AI much better. You're not going to feel like you're wasting so much time crafting the perfect prompt. You're just going to be able to identify, the high impact pieces and which ones you really want to refine so that it serves you on a longer time frame. Let's talk about advanced refinement techniques for complex applications. The sophisticated approaches that we've been discussing handle multi-dimensional improvements and complex professional requirements through systematic iteration. I want to talk about some more areas where we can push it even further and get better results. Comparative refinements. Request multiple versions for selection-based improvements. Stakeholder-specific refinements. Tailor content for a specific audience, perspectives within the same deliverable, and see which one you may want to go with. Build complex outputs through planned refinement stages in sequential enhancement. And then integrate your feedback. So incorporate multiple improvement dimensions in a series of follow-up prompts. So some advanced examples for the comparative refinement. Let's think about create 3 versions of this introduction. 1 formal, 1 conversational, and 1 data-driven. For stakeholder specific, an example would be revise this proposal to address both technical concerns and executive future decisions. Make a version for each. For sequential, first improve logical flow, then enhance persuasiveness, then optimize for executive presentation. So it may be able to take these step by step, and you can even break them down into a series of prompts. For integrated, improve the clarity while maintaining professional tone and adding more specific examples. So this is really building out that iterative enhancement. These advanced techniques enable the AI to have that sophisticated approach you take in your own work. Let's build that personal refinement system. And I want to show you how to develop a systematic approach to refining your conversations beyond just that first prompt. So we've talked about prompt libraries and even context libraries or databases. Let's think about refinement pattern libraries. Document successful follow-up sequences for different types of professional content. Create quality standard templates. Establish a criteria for different levels of refinement investment based on your requirements so that you can understand when you're refining things if it is meeting the standards that you need. Let's think about efficiency optimizations. Identify these approaches that consistently deliver the best results without a lot of effort from you. Start to identify this fine line that AI needs to become better without giving it more than it needs, which is making you provide more effort than you need. And then make it accessible to the team so that you can share your refinement process and work alongside others to refine your AI use across your organization together. It's going to be really powerful when you start to understand how people are doing things differently, that it may be working for them and could work for you, or vice versa. Track the refinement patterns that consistently improve results. Document them and the amount of investment that it takes to get there. Build templates for common refinement sequences, and then establish that quality checkpoint system so that you can guide these refinement decisions. You can start to have a process built out and know where it works up into a certain point, and then you can refine the rest without having to do all that work at the beginning again. A personal refinement system really can take your work with AI to the next level. It takes you from that experimentation phase to really having that systematic approach to the prompt engineering, the context engineering, and how to refine that process so that it consistently delivers what you need. I'll give you just a bit of an implementation plan for this because this is a pretty advanced technique and it may take you some time. And I just want to take you through this step-by-step process of how to build towards this outcome. And that's with the refinement mastery. So that 4-stage system we talked about for strategic follow-up techniques and professional applications. Then move on to that series progression. You're going to be identifying where things are working and where things are not. So start to identify and evaluate and build out that systemic approach to the results you're getting and then how it works into your system. Build that library to help you understand where you are and where you want to go, how much time you're spending on it so that you can really make those strategic investment decisions based on your use case in the future with AI. So I hope that you can apply this stuff immediately to transform AI from just that, let's just get one quick answer or one quick output from it, but a process and a system that acts as that strategic partner that'll really fuel the growth of your business or just enhance your personal life. So you now have the capabilities that separate those beginner AI users to really moving into that advanced or expert stage. So mastering this iterative refinement really unlocks AI's potential and lets you evolve and take that next step. So transform that next AI output that you get. See if you can select the AI output that's adequate, but could be exceptional with that refinement. Apply these systems and see what you get. Let me know if you have any thoughts on how you approach iterative refinement or continuous learning with AI so that you and the AI work together better. I think you'll find iterative refinement is something you can apply in every aspect of your life. We grow naturally as humans when we try things, we evaluate, we apply our learnings, and then we try again. You learn very quickly as a human when you're doing new things. AI does as well, but you need to help guide it. It may not be evaluating its work on its own. You need to prompt it. You need to build in that sort of mindset within AI's process so that it does do something once, evaluates, learns, and then does better that next time. So take a look at the link in my description for more about myself. I've written some books on exactly what I'm talking about, so you can follow along on this guide. Join my community. Let me know what you're thinking, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks.